I'm so happy to be here with you and to welcome you to the Super Beings experience. When I began my work in social impact business and using business as a way to uplift humanity, I didn't know that I was starting on a journey to unlock what I now call our super beings. And before you begin to think that this is for some exclusive, special, elitist group, that is not what super beings is about at all. So let me break it down. I truly believe that every single one of us is born already as a super being, but things go on in our younger years that create a split, and we end up beginning to alter ourselves as adults. And by the time we're full blown adults, we've really lost a sense of that super being nature that's already inside of us. And so, I've realized that my mission in life is to be able to help people unlock the super beings inside of them. And let me break down the five major categories for whom this is applicable. This is typically for those who are growth minded, who say, I want to figure out what my life could be and how amazing it could be across every area of my life. And there's five major areas: spiritual, financial, emotional, physical, and relational. Now, those aren't in any particular order. I used to focus on the financial growth first as the primary driver, but I've really realized that my spiritual evolution, my spiritual growth is the actual driver of all of it. Now, I might have mentioned relational growth as the fifth one, but it's not because it's the last or the least important by any stretch of the imagination. I actually believe all five of them are equally important. And super beings begin to realize that when you improve one area of your life, you'll end up improving all of the other areas as well. They're all interconnected. This is one of the magical pieces about being a super being, is that everything in your life begins to start affecting and changing and upgrading all the other areas. So, for example, when I began to invest into improving my relationship, well, that's when I saw my business take off. I started doing deep spiritual work, and then my business took off. I started doing emotional work, and my relationship got better, and I shed 40 pounds. I started doing more physical investment into my physical well being, and that transformed my relationship, my emotional well being, my spiritual well being, and my business. So I just want to plant that seed that you don't need to wave the white flag in any area of your life. You don't need to settle. You don't need to say that average or mediocre is just fine. You don't need to coast for the second half of your life. That's what so many people do, because society grinds them down, whittles them away, begins to domesticate them into what society thinks they should be. I read a quote today about how an elderly person explained to somebody why they did not have any wrinkles, even though they were 104 years old. And they said, wrinkles are a result of life grinding us down. Well, when you succumb to life grinding you down, it's going to begin to wear you out. But when you were born, you had a joie de vivre. You just had this curiosity and exploration and a desire for joy and play and fun and happiness and laughter. Well, what about if we could have that across the board throughout our entire life, even as adults? That we don't have to begin to say, well, those were those early years where I had no responsibility. I deeply believe that as super beings, we get to have it all. We get to tune in to the deepest parts of ourselves and unlock them so that we can live our most extraordinary lives. There's no reason that your bank account shouldn't be able to grow, and your marriage shouldn't be able to thrive, and your sex life go off the charts, and your physical health become optimized, and your emotional well-being just starts going to a hole where you shed the old layers that were holding you back. Why not? Some people that say, oh, look, why are you so growth minded? Why can't you just be okay with what is? Well, I can be both growth minded and accept what is now. I can be at peace with my body exactly as it is right now and desire to be optimized so that I can do some incredible things like hiking the Grand Canyon, which I just did with clients. So it's not that to be growth minded means you're inherently dissatisfied with the present. I think as super beings, we can be absolutely grounded in the present moment and aspirational for the changes that we desire to make across every area of our lives. Why not? People say, well, look, why are you so obsessed with more, 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 more? Well, I think people get really myopic in that understanding. They think that it assumes that I'm only about making more money in business and helping people make more money. But why? It's simply because money facilitates so many of the other parts of their lives that they want. For example, maybe they desire a personal trainer. Maybe they desire to go to Iceland and take their child for a dream experience of a lifetime. All of that is fueled by money, and the ability to be able to move money energy will be very transformative in someone's life. So, my push for helping people make more money and create financial sovereignty in their lives actually is to facilitate more across all their lives. More love, more joy, more happiness, more fun, more smiles, more laughter, more and better sex, better health, better emotional well-being, better relationship support, more team in your companies so that you can free yourself up to be focused solely on your zone of genius. I mean, what's wrong with any of those mores? I actually truly believe that God, Spirit, Source, Universe wants you to have more across all areas of your life, because there is no lack, there is no shortage, there is no shortfall. We live in an abundant universe that has more than enough resources for everybody, including you. So I want to invite you to begin to ask yourself, how do you want to grow as a super being? And here at the Super Being Experience, I'm going to be sharing information, teachings, wisdom, doing interviews with incredible humans from all over the world who can begin to share their wisdom on how they're unlocking different sides of their super beings. Again, that could be spiritual, financial, emotional, relational, or physical. So I'll be bringing in people who inspire me because I want you to hear from them. I want you to hear the changes that they've made. I want you to hear their stories and their turning point moments. I want you to feel all the feels in your body, because I'll just be real. I live to feel the feels in my body. It creates just such a tremendous energy inside me to feel tapped in, to feel connected. So much changes when we begin to realize there's our human being and our super being. And to begin to ask questions like, well, what's the difference? What's the difference between my human being? That's what most of us know. That's what most of us perceive. That's how most of us live, is through the lens of our human being. I want to plant a seed in your mind. I want to spark your curiosity about what would it be like to live from your super being self. Now, for some of us, we'll begin that process and you'll start and you'll have little tastes of your super being self. And over time, you'll have more and more and more. So you'll oscillate between your human being and your super being. And that's okay. There's no wrong here. This isn't something that you get right. It's a evolution. It's a new education. It's a new learnings. It's going to require you to unlearn so much of what you've been taught in your life that's been actually really forced upon you about how you're supposed to be in your business, as an entrepreneur, as a parent, as a wife, as a husband, as a friend, as a family member, as a son, as a daughter, right? But what I came to learn was that the most important educations are not given in school. I really let that sink in. Most of what we have been taught really wasn't the core educations that we really actually needed. So I'm going to give you some examples. I truly believe that everybody deserves financial literacy, and yet it is not taught to most. It's handed down to a small percentage of the population. And that's why we see, particularly in the United States, that 75% of the country, in the richest country in the world, lives paycheck to paycheck. And that's across income brackets, by the way. So that's an education that just simply isn't given in grade school, middle school, high school, college. Financial literacy. And by the way, that is different. Your relationship to money is different than your relationship to business. Wow, what an education that is right there. Then actual business education, the ability to be an entrepreneur, learn how to be able to go out in the marketplace and grow a thriving business. I know people that have come to me even after they have an MBA and they ask me for help on how to actually build a thriving business because the MBA didn't teach them that. But there's a couple other educations that weren't included in school. Emotional intelligence. I think it's the most important and it is not taught. Communication, how to have healthy relating, communication in relationships. Why do we have such high divorce rates? Why are people so unhappy in so many of their relationships, particularly their intimate relationships? Well, the more that I dive in, the more that I learn, the more that I study, I realize, oh my gosh, this is not taught anywhere. And it certainly wasn't modeled by most of our parents and the households that we were surrounded with. So once we identify the educations that were not handed to us, well, now we get to focus our energy there. I believe that entrepreneurship, relationship to money, relationship to self, and relationship to intimate partners, these are the core, absolutely non-negotiable educations. And those are the educations that I'll be sharing about here at the Superbeing Experience. I'm really thrilled to spend time with you. I'm really thrilled and honored to be able to be in your orbit. I want to let you know that a little bit of my background. I've spent the last 25 years building impact-driven companies that have spanned industries from clean energy technologies to global media for women to reshape body image and mass media for women around the world, to sustainable fashion, where we ended up feeding 500,000 meals to people in need through sustainable fashion, all the way to now coaching, consulting, and helping entrepreneurs become wealth circulators who unlock their super beings and make their biggest impact and contribution to uplift humanity. It's been an honor to have this journey. It's not always been easy. I just want to be really real and transparent. You know, one of the things you'll learn about me is that I'm never going to sugarcoat anything. I'm never going to make it look prettier than it was. I have fallen down, splatted on my face more times than I can remember. But I also had that bolt loose crazy to keep going, to keep stepping into the arena, to dust myself up off after, you know, I've fallen, and to just keep moving forward, keep shining my light into the world, and keep believing in myself that I came here with a mission. And guess what's happened? By not quitting, by never giving up, by always finding a way, by tapping into my resiliency and my grit, here I am. I've since been featured in Forbes with Tony Robbins. I'm a Wall Street Journal bestselling author of the book Maximum Impact Potential. I was featured in the show 4 Days to Save the World. I've been featured in USA Today as one of the top 10 conscious leaders to follow. And the list goes on and on and on. The fuel for this, it's just simply tapping into the super being inside of me. The one who knows that as humans, we are hardwired for deep human connection. The one that knows that I came to this planet to be able to contribute not just to the betterment of my own life, but to the lives of others around me. You see, we are so powerful. We are so powerful, every single one of us. Why? Because you have the technology between your ears. It's called your brain. It's the most powerful technology that's ever been invented in all of history. You have the same technology as anybody who's ever created anything that's mattered. And I believe as part of that hardwiring for deep human connection, that we all take tremendous joy out of impacting the lives of others. Now, some people may not admit this, but they've had moments in their lives where they did something for someone else and it felt good. It just felt good. You don't have to have fancy words for this. It's just that feeling deep inside of yourself that contributing to the betterment of somebody else's life is deeply nourishing to your own soul. I want you to invite you to begin to consider that your soul came here with an incredible purpose. Now, that purpose doesn't have to be super sophisticated. When I was young and in college at Wesleyan University, I was trying to come up with some super sophisticated mission statement. I was using big fancy words. And at the time, what really ended up emerging was this simple sentence: Alok, do good and make other people's lives better. For 20 years, I've written that simple statement. And only recently did a slightly more sophisticated statement emerge from deep within my soul, which is simply this: Alok, dedicate your life to helping people unlock the super beings inside of them. And when that landed, the vibrational frequency of that one sentence touched me so deeply. And I literally committed to God, source, universe, spirit, that no matter what, I would give everything to being the best partner in my relationship, the best father to my child, the best friend and family member I could be, and the best leader to help the super beings movement move around the world. I truly believe that super beings are at the root of every major positive evolutionary change that's ever happened in all of human history. I deeply believe in my soul that super beings will be at the root of creating immense change for the betterment of all around the world. We see evidence of this happening now more and more frequently. You'll begin to look around and realize, even if they don't know it, that that person over there is tapping into their super being self. And it's exciting. I love surrounding myself with the courageous souls out there, the entrepreneurs and the leaders who are out there tuning into their super being, because it transforms how they lead their companies, their organizations, their divisions. The entrepreneurs that I'm blessed to be surrounded by inside of our containers are extraordinary, not just for their drive to make a lot of money, but because of the reasons of why they want to make a lot of money. What's leading them and inspiring them to be out there doing the deep work, even when they don't want to. These are growth-minded individuals who are looking to see what's possible across every area of their life, and it is amazing to be around them. I smile when I get messages from them about what they've created next, who they've become next, what old layers they've shed, who they're stepping into, what new possibilities are opening up, what doors are being swung open, what doors are they kicking open, what relationships are they creating into their lives, how their own relationships are transforming. It's extraordinary to watch these beings evolve from their human being to their super being. Half the time, they may not even know what's really going on. Often they just sort of shrug and giggle, that magical giggle of like, you won't believe what's happening. And I look at them and say, no, I absolutely do believe, because I'm watching the changes that you've made over the last 3, 6, 9, 12, 36 months. I love seeing clients evolve over multiple years into their super being self. And I want to really acknowledge them, because the work is not always easy, and it may not always be fun, because half the time it's about staring down what some would call your shadow side, which is a term I never really liked, because as if it's some dark underbelly of somebody. I just say stare down your entire life. Look at the parts of your life that might have some suffering involved. Doesn't make it bad, doesn't make it dark. It just means it's an area of challenge, an area that the universe is ringing an alarm bell saying, hey, you might want to focus over here because there's room for improvement. It might even be that there's an extraordinary new chapter that could be birthed in that part of your life. When you unlock the super being inside of you and begin that shift from human being to super being, it can feel awkward. Some of your social surrounds might need to change because the people that you're around aren't thinking this way. That's okay. Because when you begin to clear out new space and clear out the old energy that was keeping you where you were, and you open up space, it might feel lonely just for a little bit, but guess what will happen? Other super beings will start to emerge, and they'll start filling that space in your world. And all of a sudden, a day, a week, a month, a year will go by, and you'll look and go, oh my God, my entire life is different. The people I'm surrounded with in business is completely different. The friends that I'm spending time with is completely different. So many things will begin to emerge and change in your world. And you'll look back and you'll smile. As one of my clients recently said, wow, Alok, I had no idea that tiny little baby steps would have me walk the marathon. They were talking about in business, but it was really in every area of their life. I just want to say what an honor it is to be part of your journey to unlocking your super being. Thank you for giving me that gift. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to walk alongside you as you begin to make new decisions about your life. You're an incredible being. You came here with an incredible mission. You are superb. You are one of a kind. You're nothing short of extraordinary, no matter what anybody has ever told you. And you're also this. You are a miracle. You're an absolute miracle, an undeniable miracle. The very fact that you are witnessing these words come out of me and being able to hear them, comprehend them, and reflect upon them is a sign of the miracle that you are. I love you so much. I'm thrilled that you're here. And I thank you for your extraordinary commitment to yourself, to your life, and to those you love. I look forward to our journey together, and I'll speak with you soon.